Well, good morning. Today, let's talk a little bit about fall containers. Hello. How you doing? All right. Well, I've got my fall containers here. Now I've got a couple more, but this is all I'm planting right now. These two, I planted the lettuce. I did it about a week ago, and if you can see, there's lettuces coming up in it. Some of them are about an inch tall. So they're doing good, and I'm keeping them here on the porch because on the porch it doesn't get sun. It's bright enough for it to grow, but it's not getting any direct sun until late in the afternoon when that sun's coming at an angle. So that's just to keep them a little cooler till we get into a little bit cooler weather, because lettuce doesn't like a lot of heat. Now these other three, I planted into more chard. The chard I planted in my garden didn't seem to want to sprout and come up, so I just planted it in containers. 3 containers is more than enough chard for me and my wife. Bob doesn't like it. So that's what I've got right now. Now, I was going to talk for a minute about what I've got in my buckets as far as soil. And I've talked about this once before, but I'll hit it one more time and explain a little bit. When I started doing containers, I had 4 the first year. Now I've got 7. And this last year I filled 11 because I gave 4 to my daughter. So anyway, what I did, I went out and bought a big bag of Hyponex spotting mix. You know, good stuff. It had a lot of peat in it, you know. And then what I've done is every year I'll take these buckets one at a time and I'll dump them in my wheelbarrow, and I take rabbit manure and put in with them. And I'll put in like, almost half a bucket full and mix it together. So every year I'm adding more humus, I'm adding more fertilizer that way, put it back in the bucket. Well, then every year I usually have to buy 2 or 3 more buckets just to get rid of all the soil, unless there's somewhere else I need it. And this year I did empty one of them into the garden, into a row. It wasn't very successful, but you know, that's fine. I'll have plenty of containers for next year. But anyway, so that one bag is all I ever bought. And I just keep adding rabbit manure to it, and it keeps stretching it out and making it bigger and making it bigger. So it's almost that one bag was a lifetime supply. And the rabbit manure adds the humus, it adds the fertilizer. There's nothing else you need to do. Now, the best items in my area, and I think this is going to hold true for most areas, the best things to put in containers for the fall are, Bob, get out. No, Bob. Bob was licking the tripod. The best items to put in containers in the fall are things like sugar snap peas. Peas do real good. With peas, I put about 8 or 10 of them in a bucket, and then I use just a regular old wire tomato cage. You know, those cages they sell at Walmart that are no good for tomatoes because they're not near large enough. Well, that's what those are good for. And they're okay around pepper plants if you have those. But anyway, peas are great. Lettuces, perfect. Good stuff. Yeah, that's right. Things like Swiss chard, any of your cool crop things. Radishes are good to plant in the spring if that's what you like. In fact, I could have. I didn't have any seed, and there's no seed racks in my area anymore. They've all been sent back home. So you know, and I wasn't gonna go pay for, you know, the shipping on something like that is more than the package of radish seeds is worth. But you could have planted maybe one or two Swiss chard right in the middle of the bucket, and then maybe a row of radishes around the outside edge. By the time that chard starts to get big and it needs the rest of that soil, they're out, they're gone. And radishes don't require very much fertilization. They really like for this, if you have much in there, then they just make a lot of greens and they don't make a radish. So this kind of mixture where you've just got the rabbit manure, which is mild, perfect, perfect for for radishes and things like that. So that's kind of some ideas of what you might put in your garden or probably put in your containers so they get used again for fall. So that's about it. I try to keep these midweek videos kind of short so that, you know, I'm afraid you might get tired of me after a while. So for me and for Bob, we want you all to have a quality day.